Welcome everyone to another session of the Digital Marketing Club of the Shortcut. I think everyone already knows now, but I would still again talk about this that this is a club where we are thinking of creating a community of all the digital marketeers from all around the world and also marketing enthusiasts who want to learn different parts of marketing and digital marketing. And we will have sessions like this, which is like more of a workshop, and then also we will have like fun discussions between the speakers and also the host and also like normal conversations. But like today, like I think this is like one of those sessions where I'm like not going to talk so much and I'm gonna like shut up because I also want to learn so much from Ilham, because she's going to be presenting and doing this workshop for SEO for beginners. So Ilham, if you would introduce yourself and talk about the like what we're going to present today.
So today's session, what I was trying to do was to summarize SEO so it's accessible to most people. Not well, by most people, I mean most small websites. Is this course or this webinar is not destined for you to know how to manage a big website with several hundred pages, but it will help you to decide, not decide, but know what to highlight and how to highlight, and what keywords to use and where to place them, and in order for you to rank higher on Google. So that's how I divided the today's session. So I'm going to start by explaining what is SEO, how does it work, how to choose the right keywords, and where to place those keywords afterwards. And then I have a few recommendations for you to follow. So what is SEO? I'm not gonna go very in depth about what is SEO. Pretty much, I think everyone knows what it is. It's basically how you rank on Google. So if you're looking for, if I'm craving like a pizza for lunch, I'm gonna go over on Google. I'm gonna type on the search bar pizza Rabat. That's where I am right now, and will show me a listing of the websites of pizzerias, pizza joints around me, and SEO will help you determine if you're going to be on the first ranked, which is usually the one that people go for, or the last one. And if what you're trying to avoid here is to be the last one, so you don't get um, so you don't be invisible for research for people who are searching for your kind of product or service. So how does Google know what websites to rank? Uh, Google uses this tool that it has that is called Googlebot. It is a crawler that reads basically your website, and it reads the HTML and the CSS. Fancy words that mean that it reads the text that you put in and the way that you present it. So, for example, if I am uh, let's keep the pizza example. If I am a pizza joint and I have a meat lovers special or something, and I'm trying to sell that or whatever. If that's my main selling uh, point, I would put it on the top of the website and highlight it and use the right keywords. And I will go more in depth later on how to do it. But that's basically how Google knows that your website is of value to that to that user that's searching for a specific word. So those words basically are called keywords, and they are what make it possible for people to find your website via the search engines. Do you mind going to the next page?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
I think here we are.
So before I start, I just wanted to define four main concepts. You have the seed keyword, the keyword, and the long tail keywords and the modifiers. So think of it this way. The seed keyword is basically a seed, and you will grow to have a tree that will grow to become a tree. The seed keyword in this case is that it will usually be one or two words that are very basic. For example, shoes or women's shoes or whatever. And you will build from that to get more specific searches. For example, shoes for women or shoes for women in Rabat. That's the difference between seed keywords, and long tail keywords. Um, this is important because, for example, if you're a big fashion company and you're trying to sell sweaters, if you're, I did the test earlier, and for me it showed up when I just type in sweaters on Google. My first result is H&M. H&M has a lot of resources and I imagine a huge SEO team. So that's why you can get H&M with just one word. And so that's amazing for them, great for them. But we are dealing with small websites and we want to rank anywhere. So instead of trying to get a slice of that pie, of that huge result, that because you will get a lot more searches for sweaters than sweaters, for example, vegan sweaters. And for those who are thinking, what the hell are vegan sweaters? They are just sweaters made out of anything other than wool. So, for example, if you're looking for vegan sweaters, you will have very few results compared to regular sweaters. So the objective here is to target the audience that's gonna look for your website specifically. So you're not gonna be able to compete against big corporations like Amazon, H&M, or all the other franchises, but you might be able to find yourself a niche that's very specific to you that will help you. For example, in the slide on the slide, I put the example of shoes. As a good keyword would be shoes. A good keyword would be shoes for women, and a good long tail keyword would be shoes for women in Rabat. So for you, the objective is to focus on keywords and long tail keywords specifically, so you can rank somewhere, so that when people look for a very specific product or service, you come up and they can find you more easily. Modifiers are just another fancy word just to say it's, for example, in the case of shoes, shoes for women in this case would be the modifier. A geographical modifier would be in Rabat, and so on. So yes, next slide. So now that we have those concepts nailed down, I want to talk to you about how to start this process because it can be very confusing and overwhelming and not knowing, okay, so you might be thinking, okay, I need to find those keywords but how do I do it? How do I know which are the right keywords, which are the right modifiers for me, and which are the right long tail keywords that will get users to my website? Because you might think that shoes for women Rabat might be a good long tail keyword. Might be. I haven't really checked for that exactly. That's just an example, but you will always have to check on Google Keyword Planner. I will get to that later to see if those exact keywords have enough are attracting enough traffic for you in order for you to get users. So I divided the process in 4 steps. The basic one, it's an oldie but a goodie. Brainstorm seed keywords. Just like sit down. You might even think about looking at your competition. I don't mean going back to the example of sweaters. I wouldn't go, for example, if I'm a small business and I make very specific sweaters, I wouldn't compare myself to H&M, but I would compare myself to a business that has a similar business model, small company, and see what they are doing on their website and try to improve upon it. So see what keywords they're using, are they working, and so on. So good old-fashioned brainstorm. Once you have it, I would always write it down because it is a lot of, at the end of the day, you're going to need a lot of words. So always write down this. I would recommend for you to do it in an Excel sheet. I will show you an example that I really like. This SEO expert that I really admire. I will show you his template, and it's open for the public to use. Um, so once you have it, expand your research. So yeah, brainstorm is good, but you need to back up those words that you found, and see if they are actually good for your website. Rakif, do you think if I might be able to show them my screen because I want to show them Keyword Planner, the tool.
Mm, yeah,
So this is Keyword Planner. This Keyword Planner is a tool that's inside Google Ads. It's free. All you need to do is create a Google Ads account, and you don't even it doesn't even need to be active. You don't need to pay for any ads or anything. But it's a great tool for you to know if those seed keywords that you chose, what on depending on the modifiers that you're gonna add, if they're effective or not, and so on. This might seem very vague, but I'm just trying to teach you to go through the theoretical part before I go in the end over the actual application. This is a small part of the application. Like once you'd have the keywords, so let's go back to the pizza example. Pizza joint would be a good keyword. Another one would be a long tail keyword would be pizza joint vegan again in Rabat. That does not exist, let me tell you, but let's wrote it down anyways, and so on. You can put as many keywords as you want, and the more keywords that you put, it will be better for you because let me show you. I'm gonna leave it at 3. I earlier preset it, put it in English and Helsinki. I would usually recommend for you to adapt it depending on the language of your website and where you are, because the results will well vary. I am right now in Rabat. Depending on where you are in the world, you will have different results.
Mhm.
So it might look a little scary, but it is not. It's just a lot of fancy talk for nothing. So these are the keywords that I put in earlier: pizza joint, vegan robot, and so on. See, told you, 0. Uh, and pizza restaurants. The idea here is to see that, so you can see the these information over, on top of here. You can see the competition. You can see whether it's low or high. This will help you determine whether a keyword is worth it. The ad impression share. You can go over these just like if you hover with your mouse on each word. It will give you um, crap, a definition. Sorry, give me one sec. The idea here is to give Google a hint of what you're looking for, because then these, yes, they are nice, but these are not the actual keywords that you want. The ones that you want are here. So you get vegan pizza near me, and you get like an average of the monthly searches. Okay, so ignore these; they are ridiculously low, but basically because I'm looking for vegan pizza robot, and as I said, that does not exist.
Mm.
But let me switch. Let's go. Uh, so, um, uh, okay. Okay, so these are like shirts for women and for the office. So here you'll have more suggestions. So you get here you get suggestions. You get the average monthly searches, and here this is less interesting for you guys. This is only, well, basically interesting if you're gonna you do SEM instead of SEO. The difference is SEM you pay. You're actually paying for your website to show up when someone researches for a very specific word, instead of doing it the old-fashioned way, just placing specific keywords all over your website. So, yep. Then what I would recommend you to do, select all the keywords that you want, and either save them or download them. Once you download them, you can add them to an Excel sheet that I will show you later, and that way you can uh, categorize and organize your thoughts better. So basically what I just showed you was the keyword research tool. Then I went through the how to use it, and then I continued. Thank you, Lucky. I continued onto the export and organize, which is basically the download the keywords that you found and that you selected, and organize them in an Excel sheet. And then group and theme, the keywords is basically just more of the same thing. In SEO, the hardest part, well, it's not hard, it's just extremely annoying. The part that will take you more time on SEO is to categorize all the keywords that you found and assign them to uh, different themes all over your website. For example, if you're again, let's keep it with the fashion example. If I have a fashion brand and I'm selling shoes, tops, and bottoms, in that case, I would have three themes. I have three products, but they are different, and each of them will need different keywords. For example, I would have for shoes. I might want to use a modifier like wide fit or narrow fit for shoes. Same for the tops. I might want to go for have as a modifier a blouse or a shirt and so on. And yeah, so keep in mind that for SEO, the most annoying part, but it is very, very helpful at the end of the day, is to keep it always very well organized. I will show you a very good, a great Excel template where you can keep all these keywords that you're collecting uh, organized so you can later on when you're creating the content for your actual website, you know, okay, so this page is actually about this theme, this product. So I already collected this information and I need to use these keywords. Okay. Can you go to the, yeah. So now about mapping themes to keywords is basically what I just said. You need to keep it all very organized, and that doesn't only apply to the keywords that you're using, but also to the individual URLs. Everything needs to be as clean as possible so that Google, when it crawls your website and it tries to understand how what Google will try to do is try to see your website from the point of view of a human. But at the end of the day, Google does not know the difference between Shakespeare or word vomit. So you need to help a Googlebot by having everything using as simple uh, how to say it. Simplify it to the maximum. Do not leave. If you can categorize pages, if you can file them, if you can give clean titles without using stop words, that will help you and get very far away in your SEO. Keyword cannibalization is when you use the same keyword for several pages. You will find, for example, I will go back to the sweater example. If H&M had used the keyword sweater for all of its pages, Google wouldn't have known which page to show me, because at the end of the day, they have hundreds and hundreds of pages within their website, and Google will always show you only one. There are very few cases where Google will show you more than one page for the same website. So avoid keyword cannibalization. That's why the previous steps are so important. You need to have a very wide library of keywords so you can switch from one to the other. Do not try to not recycle them as much as possible. And keyword stuffing. Don't think that Googlebot is not that smart, but it is smart. It's been proven time and time again that if you, for example, back in the day, what they used to do is, for example, if you have black background, they will put like a small text box with a bunch of keywords written in black, so the actual users wouldn't be able to read it, but Google would be fooled. That's not happening anymore. So be careful about stuffing your keywords where you don't when it's not where they are not needed. You need to be able to combine uh, the
I think I can mute it.
you need to be able to flow through that line of user friendly and search engine friendly. So now to the good stuff. On-page optimization. Basically, it's the best thing that you can do as a small website for your website, as a small website owner for your pages. I would recommend you to go through all of your pages. I'm going on the supposition right now that uh, all of you have startups and they are small websites with a few pages. At most, you'll have maybe an e-commerce with a few several product pages, but at the end of the day, it is manageable to go through each and every single page because it is important. So, for example, here you can see like a photo of how I would divide a web page. So number one, you have the title tag. That's actually not part of the website. That's what we call metadata. It's part of the actual HTML code, but it's not visible on the web page itself. It's on the top. It's on the here. It's on Safari. You have the URL structure, and then headlines, body text, and alt tag. I will go in the next couple slides. I will show you I will give you pointers exactly on how to write a title tag, a URL structure, headings, and metadata. So what you need to keep in mind for on-page optimization is you need to use your primary keywords placing, which means if you are on a page that's about sweaters again, use your keywords for sweaters. If you're on the shoes page, use the keywords that you selected for the shoes, and so on. So yeah, can you go to the next slide?
Yep.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. So for the URL structure, again, keywords. I'm gonna say this again and again, but it's the bread and butter of SEO. So again, use your primary keywords. Keep it as short as possible. Only use numbers and letters, and for spaces, don't write down space because Google will not understand that. And don't use a slash or anything. Keep it simple. Keep it to a small dash. It's there on the rules, so Google can understand that that's a space. If you use any other character, it will not register that as a space. Grouping pages, as I said earlier, keep everything very organized and categorize things as much as you can. For example, here I use the Zara.com example. So you have this first category is MA, sorry, which stands for Morocco, and FR French, and shirts for women and blouses. So they categorize it in that specific way. Do not use stop words. Stop words are at, the, to, small words that, yes, they are great for conversation and for you to help build a sentence. Google doesn't care about that. Google just cares about keywords. It doesn't care about grammar or syntax. Always use lower cases. Avoid upper cases as much as you can. And I would say never use them for the URL structure. The title tag. Same again, use primary keywords. And in this case, I would recommend for you to use them at the beginning. So I don't have an example right now, but yeah, just for example, okay, let's circle back to the sweaters. If you're on the sweater page, you'll have sweaters, females dash Zara. Be as descriptive as you can. So for example, the example that I just gave, sweaters dash females or women, is not exactly a great example. A good example for a title tag would be hotel and Marrakesh with pool. That's more specific. You have the product, which is the hotel. You have the geographical modifier, which is Marrakesh, and a specific characteristic, in this case, the pool. And then I would always add the brand name. That's just to make it clean and to link your brand name for Google to understand that this is a business and you can repeat it as many times as needed. Just like never in the same place. Like in the title tag, I wouldn't do it twice, but yeah, I would make sure to use it in all title tags and keep it to 60 characters max. If you can, it will not stop you from going over 60 characters, but it won't show. It will be cut. You will instead have three dots for it for etc. The meta description is that thing that you can see on the screen right now. When you type, for example, Gymshark in this case, on Google, this is what you'll see. That actual text, Gymshark is a leading active apparel brand, blah blah blah. That you will probably not find on the website, and if you do, it's not coming from this text. If it's they just copy pasted it from somewhere else. This is actually something that you can add and that you should add. It's how people will know whether or not your website is interesting to them. So be short. Again, keep it 56 characters in this case, but don't keep it too long because it won't show anyways. You will just get three dots and it will be cut short. Be as descriptive as possible and try to use action words or call to actions. Join us. Join our newsletter, stuff like that. So that's the meta description. The heading. So I don't know if you guys know how a web page is distributed, but you can have as many as six headers, six types of headers on the same web page, and then you can each one you can repeat as many times as you need. For example, in this case, you have if you see on the photo number 3, that's an H1, H2. I would call it an H1 to be honest, and try to keep it again. Use primary keywords, but only use one H1. Never use more than two H1s per page. If you need more, I would switch over to H2 or H3 because in that case you might overwhelm Google or I mean Googlebot and you won't know which one is the more important header. Okay, so I now finished the pointers that I like the theory that I wanted to go over with you guys. Let's switch. I'm gonna share with you. Can you
Would you
quit
be,
presenting?
yeah,
Yes, I need to show them my screen.
okay. Would you be open to answering some questions now, or do you want to do it at the end?
Of course I might. Yes, are there questions?
Yeah, just some questions. I think it would be because I think you're going to show more practical
Of
examples.
course.
Yeah, so
Okay.
before,
Google Ads ask for bank account information when signing up. Should I continue with that? Did they charge anything after signing up? So no need. Don't go through Google Ads. If they're asking for your bank account information, just leave it and go on the Google search bar and type Google Key Planner, and it will lead you directly to that, and you can easily access it without signing up through the bank account. And anyways, even if it asks you, it will never charge you without you specifically asking for a specific ad. So if you never activate an ad, it won't tax you anything.
yeah, so
So don't worry about that.
just for the keyword searching, it won't charge you
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That it won't charge you for the keyword search. You can I think they have a premium plan or something like that, but it's not really necessary
In the
for all
basic
the
one,
invent.
you don't need it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, then the next question was, so how do you decide when to use seed words, keywords, or long tail keywords? Also, in the keyword tool, you have wrote all three types of keywords. So can you say like when,
Um, yeah, no,
how to
she's right.
decide?
Yes, sorry. So the seed keyword is just the starting point for you to build on. It's not the actual word that you're gonna use on your website. What you actually are gonna want to use on your website are either the keywords or the long tail keywords. Um, how to more specifically, and let's go back to the example for shoes. Shoes for women. That's the keyword. A long tail keyword would be shoes for women in Rabat,
Mm,
well, or white fit or whatever. Shoes is not a good enough keyword for you to bank on. You could decide on to use a C word, but I would never recommend it for a small website. I would always tend to go for very specific, very niche. It doesn't mean that you can't use just like randomly the word shoe or a small word all over your website. Of course you can. In that case, you might have text that's very hard to read. But focus and try to put as many specific and very descriptive words on your page.
mm.
Um, can you give Wakif? I'm running out of ideas. Can you give me an example of any page, any kind of page, like shoes, fashion? I can do pizza again.
Okay, you need, I don't know, like you can do Zara or
Sure, Zara.
yeah.
So again, Zara, you can go for the tight fit sweater,
Mm,
wool, pink. That might all those words together might be a long tail keyword. That's pretty good. You'd have to see and check if there are actual people looking for that word. In order to do that, just go to Keyword Planner and type all those words together, and you will see if there's any volume, if at all, regarding those keywords. And if there isn't, don't panic. You can always scroll down, like I showed you earlier, and
mm,
you'll see the keyword idea. It will give you suggestions and with possible keywords alternatives that's for you to use.
mm,
So seed keyword was basically just a definition that I needed to give you guys. For example, when you're going over a text about SEO or something, you know what it is. It's not something that you're actually going to use on Keyword Planner. It's something that you're going to use for you yourself when brainstorming at the beginning.
mm-hmm. Would you mind me sharing the PDF in the chat just for the people?
Of course, go ahead. I
Yeah.
am also gonna go ahead right now and share a couple of links
Yeah.
that I'm gonna show you guys in a sec.
Yeah.
So if people want to,
Yeah. That is better, I think, if they want to see it on their own windows.
yeah.
Hmm.
Does the meta description has SEO value? No, the meta description doesn't actually have SEO value, but it has great user experience value. So, for example, when you're going through again the pizza example, if you're looking for a clay oven pizzeria, if you have it in the meta description, your user will read it, and that will increase your chances of them going into your website. So the meta description is important, but not it's not it doesn't have specific value for SEO.
Hmm. Yeah. Now you
Any other
can,
questions?
for now, we can, like, you can give the examples and then at the end we can again take like for 5 to 10 minutes different questions.
Great. So right now I'm gonna switch over to the first link that I shared. It's a spreadsheet on Google.
Hmm.
Okay, so this spreadsheet is not actually mine, but it's by an SEO expert that I really appreciate. His name is Jared Gardner. He has a couple courses on Skillshare, which I really recommend as an educational tool. It's very effective and has many courses that I would recommend. I'm not. It's not sponsored, by the way. I'm just like during quarantine, I became absolutely obsessed with Skillshare. But yeah, So this is just a way, this spreadsheet, what it will do, it will help you uh, understand better how you need to proceed. So so here, like in the first one, in the first column, he divide he divided the tasks. So here you have create the seed words, and here he created for you guys a seed word tab. So here you can write down like a good seed word would be the products and services, modifiers, geographical modifiers, or here just geographies, and branded keywords. Branded keywords are basically just like the name brands. And this is a good way for you to keep track of all the keywords that you have. So once that you've written down all your seed words, go back. And then in the second step, he recommends expand your keyword research, which is what we did earlier with the Google Keyword Planner. You would have to go to Google right here and right here and just go over the keywords that you want and download them and put them in this tab. So you have the keywords that you researched. Here you can put down the average monthly research, so you can know without ever having every time to go back and forth to Google Keep Planner. Here you can track down your competition. By tracking down your competition, what you're gonna do is it's basically just like a benchmark study. It's just a way for you to know where others failed and how you can improve upon it. It's not mean or anything, but it's just a way for you to keep ahead and have a base to go from. If you're lost and you don't know what seed word to use or what keyword is the right one for you, you can always look at the competition and see what they're doing and what you can improve upon that, and so on. So here, like this product status is just for you to say. He says in his class that you can use it. You can use a spreadsheet to well, with your team, so you can so you can always keep track of your progress. Here you have you can divide the responsibility. You don't have to actually be an SEO analyst. You can just be an SEO practitioner.
Yeah.
And here you can write down a note if you have something of relevance to type down. And yeah, so basically you have this tab to put in your seed keywords with the modifiers that you find and the keywords and the branded keywords. So this would be for the brainstorming part. After, when you improve upon it with the Google Keyword Planner, I would add everything here, and then you would combine the two. You can do it in another tab, or you can use a pivot table, and that way you have a great source for you to go back for. The main idea of these spreadsheet is for you to have something to go back to when you're lost and you don't know what keywords to use for each page, because it might seem simple right now and you might write down just like maybe 10, but at the end of the day, when you think about right now I'm trying to build a website and it has on average maybe 100 pages and I'm going crazy with them. So it's hard to keep track of the keyword that I'm going to use for each type of page. So this is just a way for you to have a reference to go back to go back to, and to have like an like a base. Let's call it a base for you to build upon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is that was the first document. What now, like once you have all the keywords, you need to know how to implement them into your website, so it's not just random words spread all over your website. You need to make them coherent enough so people know what you're trying to say, and not just having flying words all over the screen. So here is a good way for you to apply what we said earlier. So, for example, the URL here, this represents the URL of a homepage that you can add here. For example, here he's talking about a pool that they're selling. You can say, I don't know much about pools, but you can say pools in again San Antonio or something like that. You can organize your URLs so that Google doesn't get lost. So again, this is how I would do it. This is called he calls it a copy doc, which is basically just the document that you would prepare for you to know how to organize a page, and it's called copy for copywriting. So normally you would have, when you have a team, you would have someone who will do the copywriting, which is the writing that will actually go on the web page and that's attractive for users. And you would have someone who's in charge of SEO. The objective is to be able to combine both and to get final result that's search engine friendly so that Google can rank you, and user friendly as well, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if Google can rank you if the user does not understand the words if they are just floating around. So this page will help you organize your URL, organize your page title, your meta description, and images. Images, about images, for example, here in this case, they have several images. Google does not know what this image has. For Google's just a bunch of pixels, but most CMSs, by CMS I mean Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, and all those fun platforms that help us build websites, they will allow you to change the name of a photo so that you can add a description. For example, for a photo, you can say kids jumping on a pool, fun, camping, holiday, keywords like that, so that Google understands what's actually happening on the photo without having to see it, because it's not able to understand that what's going on in the photo. So always try to allow to add names to your photos.
I think if it,
Mostly, so linking. So this mainly works for I would say for blogs. If you have a blog or a part of your website that is a blog, you can optimize your chances for Google to find you if you're linked. Linking pages is when, for example, if I'm a web page about psychology issues. I'm a psychiatrist, and I have a blog, and I write articles about the different topics that I can speak about. I might be able to ask a doctor to recommend me, and he might write a blog post and say, "Hey, listen, I would recommend to my readers to go check out this other website and." Link the and link the recommendation. Here they use TripAdvisor because it is he's talking about a hotel or a camping trip or something like that. But it works for anything. It's just a way for Google to know that you're a reliable website, that you're not stealing information or doing nefarious things. So that's how Google knows that you're reliable from recommendations. Just like everything in life, we don't do anything anymore without reading and watching reviews. So Google does the same thing, and Google's way of knowing that you're reliable is for people to recommend you and for you to recommend people. It's a back and forth. I would there's a few things that you can do. For example, there are some people who buy links, who they will buy link building. So they will go to another web page and pay them for them to add their link. I wouldn't recommend that because Google has ways of knowing this, and that will significantly decrease the link building value, and it will just be pointless. It will just be a waste of money. So that's what link building is,
Hmm.
and that's what the external links are. And this page in this case, it says that it was recommended on TripAdvisor. Um, any other questions? Good thoughts on keywords analysis? I'd like to hear more about build on backlinks and authority for your domain. But yes, it is important. But as I said, it's a lot more interesting for blogs. It is very interesting for e-commerce too, but it's a lot harder to do. Whereas for blogs, you're constantly creating posts. You can exchange if there are two blogs, you can exchange. You can say, "Hey, let me write a post for you, and you'll write a post for me, and we'll each recommend our websites." That's a good way for link building. So that's why I always recommend it for blogs. But it is harder for e-commerce. Um, you could do it over in social media. Doesn't have much SEO value, but it does have big user value. So yeah, Google might not care that 100 people recommended you over on Facebook, but people will care. So that's basically what I have to say for the copy doc. Um, a great tool for these kind of questions that are very uh, detailed. For example, keyword cannibalization is a question that I struggle personally a lot with. Right now, I'm building an e-commerce, and I have literally maybe 200 or 300 products that I'm trying to add to the web page, and cannibalization is very hard to battle with because sometimes it's basically the same article but different color, and I have it in 10 different colors. So
Hmm.
the way that I do it is I try to put them all on the same page. Instead of having a page for each article, I will just have a page for one and the color. It's not the visual effect that I wanted for my website, but it does avoid keyword cannibalization. For these specific questions, I would always refer to the Moz blog. So for those of you who don't know, Moz is a huge uh, community, let's call it, of SEO experts, and they write articles continuously on their blog. It's a very, 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 very reliable source. I would always recommend for you to go to Moz first before you go to another SEO so-called expert. For example, I would never call myself an SEO expert because I am not. I am a digital analyst. I am an SEO practitioner because I have some experience, but I would never say that I know everything. Moz, for example, they
I
have
think it is.
experts
I
and
think
they
it is
will
like
know.
in some way also like very pretty arguable because I mean, of course, there are some ways that you can optimize it to a
Yeah,
level, but you cannot like fully do it because no one knows like what is actually happening behind the scenes for
exactly,
Google. Like I mean,
exactly.
you can increase your chances of being seen, which is super important. And that is why I think everyone and all the like small to big companies, everyone is so much concentrated on SEOs because that is how you get in front of the people, like even before you start selling anything.
But you guys do have an advantage. You guys have a bunch of small companies and you guys work together. Why not recommend each other? That's a
Yeah.
great idea. For example, many e-commerces, what they do, they have a blog section so they can write articles every once in a while, and that will help you rank higher on Google. The more articles that you put out.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, take advantage of the fact that you are all here together and that you have this amazing community. Recommend each other, that will always get you ahead.
So if anyone has any more questions they can ask, I think we can we go till 35 if it's fine for you?
It's completely fine.
Okay, so we can go till 35, and if anyone has any questions, they can ask. And also, do you know like any like simple websites where you can just go and like paste your website link and they can like show you some statistics? I mean, of course, not for ACOs, but it shows you like how your website is doing or something.
Okay, so are these tips also useful for Yahoo and Bing optimization? I
Mhm.
would say yes. I've never personally used Yahoo and Bing. I know I am bad for all SEOs out there, but yeah, I tend to forget about Yahoo and Bing. But I would say yes. Again, I'm if you'd like, I'm gonna leave you guys my email in the message board.
Yeah, and also I think they can comment like in the group or any of the post, or also email
Yeah,
her. Like anyway, that is flexible for you guys. You can always comment and ask, and also email her, and we would get back with the question and
yeah.
answers.
About the example about Yahoo and Bing, I don't want to give a definite answer before doing my research. So why don't you let me give me a day to look into it and see if all of these tips apply to Yahoo and Bing, and
Yeah,
I'll let you know. Yeah, no, the day that you start on SEO, it becomes kind of an addiction because there's always a new issue that you're trying to avoid.
and
So
it's
yeah,
changing. I think it is changing
yeah,
so much that you have.
it changes a lot, and Googlebot every day is smarter. As I said, for example, the old back in the day, what people used to do, they used to try to fool the bot, but now you can basically can't do it.
Yeah,
And people used to buy links for link building. You can do it, but it will catch you, so it's pointless. And if it catches you, you will just not rank, and it will just be wasted money.
okay. I think Laura asked, what's the shadiest SEO tactic that still works in 2020?
Ugh, I honestly don't know. I'd love to tell you. I would love to tell myself, to be honest, sometimes, but no, I have no clue.
But would you say, like, because I came across this, I'm gonna share it in the comments, like Nibbler.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've heard about it. Like it gives you like some kind of feedback on your website. Like all of them doesn't work for SEO, but
Ah, sorry, I forgot about your
yeah.
Okay, so you have if you write cash like this, I'm gonna put it in the message board. Cash um and your website with a colon website. Like for example, I'm gonna write put Zara.com.
Hmm.
It will show you how exactly Google sees your website because some websites use JavaScript, and even though Googlebot is becoming a lot smarter every day and does understand JavaScript, it doesn't always sees it the exact same way. So you might want to check out and see how your website is seen by Google. Um, what else? I also I wrote down another website that you guys could use.
Hmm.
Well, it's not exactly what you asked for, but you have the Google SERP simulator.
Google Search Simulator.
Simulator. It will basically show you your meta description instead of having to beforehand. So you can type it down. It will give you the space for you to write the description, the title, and everything. So you don't have to write it down on the web page and publish it for you to go and see it how it's seen. This way, it's a lot faster. You skip a step. A very important one. But no, I don't know of any website that will analyze your SEO and be effective. I know there are some websites that think that they can do it, but I've never seen it done effectively. Sorry.
Hmm. I think Lauren also asked, do you use any paid tools such as Ahrefs?
No, I have used SEMrush,
Hmm.
but to be honest, SEMrush, and but to be honest, it was paid by my school, and I wouldn't pay for it right now because I don't feel the need for it at this exact moment. It depends on what you need. If
Hmm.
you feel that the information that Google Keep Planner that Google Keep Planner is giving you is not enough, and you'd like more data, go for it. Do your research. I would recommend SEMrush. I've looked around, but there are probably some other tool that's new that's better. And yeah,
Maybe when
you
I
can
open
use.
the pizza vegan shop in Rabat, then I will use.
Yeah, I think that might fail in within hours, not even a week. I wouldn't give it a week. People love their meat here. Um, so yeah, I would recommend SEM Rush. But anyways, I wouldn't think I can't think of a scenario where you guys would need more data than what Key Planner gives for free. But
Mhm.
if you feel like that you want to try it, most of these tools have a couple weeks for free, or a couple tries for free. So you can always try it and see if you like it before paying for a month. It's usually quite expensive if you're a startup and struggling for money. Like it's 30 bucks or 30 or $50 a month,
Mm.
which is kind of expensive if you're considering that you're already paying the CMS, the and the domain and all that crap. You're welcome, Ishmael.
Yeah, I think we will stop taking in questions now. And and thank you so much, Ilham, for being here. I know how busy you are, and
You're
then
welcome.
giving
No,
off,
it's fine.
taking out time for being here, being a part of the community, and giving back and providing so much value for all of us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That SCM idea was pretty good. We can do it in a couple of weeks, if you guys if there's an interest in that. I wouldn't mind.